Welcome back. This is Brother Pat. So who is a good Christian? Who? So who is a good Christian? Asked by one from Ghana. So who? Good question. Good question. Let us go to the Bible and find out. The only place to truly know the true answer. Is it the religious leaders, the Pharisee, the Sadducee, or the scribe? One who tithes and fasts twice a week? These are good things, but this is not what really makes this good. Luke 18:12 says, I fast twice in a week. I give tithes all that I possess. And the publican, standing afar off, would not lift up much of his eye upon heaven, but smote upon his breast, saying, God be merciful to me, a sinner. I tell you, this man went down to his house justified rather than the other. For every one that exalteth himself shall be abased, or put down, and he that humble himself shall be exalted, lifted up. The publican, the tax collector, the one that was considered so unholy and unrighteous, but yet he was honest with God, and he got right with God because he confessed his sins. Food for thought, good food for thought. Who is a good Christian? Is it he who stood and prayed, or he who kneeled, not lifting his head in shame, asking forgiveness? Who is a good Christian? Good food for thought, good food for thought. Is it he who goes into the hood, the neighborhood, to bring good news, or the one who keeps his hands clean, too good, to not be filthy? Too good to associate with the sick and afflicted. Who did Jesus come for? The sick. Mark 2:17. Good teacher, what must I do to inherit eternal life? Why do you call me good? Jesus answered. No one is good except God alone. Mark 10:18. We've seen his glory and the glory of the one and only Son who came from the Father, full of grace and truth. I realize that's what we need to be, is full of grace and truth, to love others, to help the poor, the sick, the orphans, the widows, and the imprisoned. It says, we have seen his glory, the glory of the one and only Son who came from the Father, full of grace and truth. John 1:14. Matthew 5:44. But I say, love your enemies, pray for those who persecute you. In that way, you will be acting as true children of your Father in heaven. It says, if you love only those who love you, what reward is that for you? What is there for that? Even corrupt tax collectors do that much. Food for thought, good food for thought. Who is a good Christian? None are good on their own, only ones living in Jesus, full of grace and truth. As it is left up to us to love your enemies, Romans 12:17-19. So in other words, what makes us good is to be like Jesus. In other words, to be the true servants and follow him, obedient and trust him. Who is a good Christian? Good food for thought. He who ministers to the poor, the orphan, the sick, and the widows. Or he who is too good to fool with the least of these. Who did Jesus come for? Are you a sheep or a goat? Matthew 24:34-40. So Jesus says that's the way he separates the good from the bad. Brother Pat signing off. Humble yourself, live and share Jesus, give out of your need. Mark 12:23. Jesus said, truly I tell you, this poor widow has more into the treasury than all the others. They all gave of their wealth, but she, out of her poverty, put in everything, had to live on. In other words, they said she only gave like a couple of pennies. You know, what would not be considered anything, but it's all that she had, and she gave all that she had. This is what is good, being like Jesus. This is good. This is definitely good. This is absolutely good. Brother Pat, signing off, wanting and trying to be a good Christian. And I pray that you do too. God bless you. Bye.